Have you ever wondered why some people seem to carry a silent, almost dark magnetism, as if they came from another dimension? What if I told you that there is a sign that vibrates outside the zodiac pattern, as if it had been spiritually coded to live in the shadows and be reborn from its own pain? The name of this sign is Scorpio, and what you are about to discover has nothing to do with a common horoscope. Scorpio doesn't just feel different, it vibrates different. Your spirit carries ancestral codes, hidden secrets, and a direct connection with the invisible. While other signs seek light, Scorpio dives into the abyss, faces what no one wants to see, and returns stronger, deeper, more dangerous. This is the forbidden dimension that almost no one has the courage to explore, but that shapes the chosen ones. Maybe you've already felt this. Intuitions that no one understands, silences that speak more than 1,000 words, an emotional intensity that scares even you. This is no coincidence. It is a spiritual seal. It's a Scorpio brand. It is a vibration of transformation, rebirth, and divine mission. Therefore, today, we are not just going to talk about astrology. Let's reveal why the Scorpio spirit is on another vibrational plane and why it bothers you so much. Prepare to see beyond the veil, because whoever embarks on this journey rarely comes out unscathed, but always emerges awake. And if you've ever felt like you carry something that the world doesn't, understand or stay with me, because what comes now will show why the universe never treated you like others. If at any point in your life you have ever felt misunderstood, too intense, too deep, or even wrong for seeing what no one sees, comment here now. I carry this energy. This is not just a comment. It is a spiritual seal. It's as if you said to the universe, I recognize my essence, even if it scares others. The truth is that understanding the Scorpio spirit is not about signs. It's about awakening. It's about remembering who you really are, where you came from, and what you came here to do. Therefore, this video goes far beyond entertainment. He is a revelation, a key for those who feel like they never fit into this world, because maybe really they didn't come from here. Leave your comment, like this video now, and subscribe to the channel. This activates not only the algorithm, but something even bigger, your conscious spiritual journey. When you interact with this content, you tell yourself that you are ready to access something that goes beyond the ordinary. And now that you've crossed the threshold of that invisible door, get ready, because what I'm going to tell you next about Scorpio will make you understand why your suffering was never in vain, and why this energy was given to you, and not to anyone else. Have you ever felt like you carry an invisible force? Something that no one around you understands or can handle? We're not just talking about a strong personality or an explosive temper. We are talking about vibration, of concentrated spiritual energy, from an invisible field that surrounds you, and even when you try to fit in, continues to differentiate you. Maybe you didn't choose to be like this, but he was also never capable of being different. People with the Scorpio vibration, even if they don't have the sun in their sign, know what I'm talking about. It's as if there is a presence within you, a deep consciousness that observes everything in silence, that senses the environment before entering, that sees hidden intentions with disturbing clarity. That's not crazy. This is not paranoia. This is heightened spiritual sensitivity. It is part of the invisible mission that this energy brings. The Scorpio spirit has its own signature. It is not a light energy. It is not festive. It is not made to please. It's dense. It's intense. It's old. Many are afraid of this vibration, and with good reason. Scorpio vibrates on the plane of symbolic death, transmutation, and rebirth. It carries the codes of an internal alchemy that few would support. While other signs move outward, Scorpio dives inward. While many seek to understand the world, he seeks to decipher himself. And in this search you find truths that hurt, that free, that burn, but that heal. How many times have you tried to explain your deepest insights and only received blank stares? How many times have you felt like your sensitivity was too much for others? This is not weakness. This is a gift that, in the wrong hands, turns into poison, but in conscious hands, it becomes pure spiritual power, the kind of power that transforms environments, that activates the truth, that awakens those who are asleep around them. Scorpio's energy does not accept surface. She doesn't know how to be warm. She doesn't know how to pretend. She doesn't know how to tolerate the shallow. And that, in a world that lives on appearances, is almost a curse, until you understand that it is in fact a blessing, because your ability to feel what's behind words, of realizing what was not said, of touching the other's pain without running away, is exactly what makes you rare, and that's precisely why it bothers you so much. Scorpio represents the 8th house of the zodiac, the house of death, sex, the occult, karmic legacies. Nothing he experiences is superficial. Everything is permeated by a denser, more spiritual, deeper purpose. Scorpios, or whoever carries their energy, are not here to have an easy life. They are here to fulfill a mission that begins by breaking one's own ego, facing the inner shadows, dying to everything that is false, and being reborn true. This is why Scorpio attracts limit experiences, situations that test your soul, betrayals that teach him about loyalty, losses that bring you closer to what really matters, silences that connect you with dimensions that others don't even believe exist. Pain is not an accident in the life of someone with Scorpio energy. She is a tool. It is as if the universe knew that certain truths could only be accessed by those capable of withstanding the impact of feeling them fully. Maybe that's why you feel everything so intensely. Love, pain, anger, longing, faith. Everything about you is complete, deep, absolute. He doesn't know how to love half, nor hate half, nor believe half. You give everything or you withdraw. Go to the bottom or don't go in. And that, for many, is dangerous. Because it demands presence, it demands truth, it demands delivery. Scorpio teaches that living intensely is not a choice. It is a destiny, a spiritual calling. This call manifests itself silently, but constantly. From an early age, those who have this energy feel like they don't belong. It's as if there was a code in your DNA that separates you from the crowd, that leads you to question, to investigate, to distrust the superficial reality that everyone accepts without thinking. You feel when people lie, even without proof. You know when something bad is about to happen. You dream about symbols. You have premonitions. You feel goosebumps for no reason. All the time, something in you is attuned to the unseen. This is active spirituality, even if you haven't given it a name yet. And when you try to repress that sensitivity, when you try to fit in and become normal, something inside you becomes sick. Because Scorpio energy isn't meant to hide. It was made to illuminate what is hidden, even if it hurts. Your mission is not to be understood. Your mission is to understand. And from that place, help others to heal, to see themselves, to be reborn. That's why, wherever you go, people feel something different. They don't know how to explain it, but they feel it, as if there was an invisible mirror that forces them to look inside. This magnetic effect is part of your energy field. It's not manipulation, it's not charm, it's not forced seduction. It's a natural vibe. It is as if his presence said, "The truth is here, ready to be shown." And many run away, because they're not ready to see each other. But those who stay, transform. And maybe, deep down, you always knew that. I always knew that it didn't come to please, but to activate, to bring about change, rupture, revelation. Now, if all this makes sense to you, if every word you've heard so far has touched something that you can't explain logically, then write in the comments, "This energy is my truth," or simply, "I carry this energy." These words placed here are not just loose phrases. They are a ritual, a commitment that you make with your own essence. Write to remember, write to recognize yourself. And if you haven't liked this video yet, do so now. Your like isn't just a number. It's a signal for this message to reach those who need to hear it most. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because the journey is just beginning. We still have a lot to reveal about this forbidden dimension that vibrates through you. And in the next few minutes, you will understand why the universe has never treated Scorpios the way it treats others. Because the Scorpio spirit vibrates at another frequency. If you are still here, it is because something inside you recognized this call. And no, this is not a coincidence. Those who vibrate at the Scorpio frequency do not attract random messages. The Scorpio spirit carries a silent, almost invisible compass that guides it directly to what needs to be revealed, even if it hurts, even if it scares, even if it dismantles everything that seemed right. The truth is that this energy is thirsty for depth, for mystery, for purpose. That's why, when a message like this crosses your field, it doesn't go unnoticed. You feel it in your body, sit on your chest. Sometimes you even feel like you don't understand. It's as if words awaken something that was dormant inside you, something that no one around you sees, but that pulses strongly in your essence. This is the Scorpio spiritual vibration, a hidden consciousness that observes everything in silence, that recognizes patterns, detects lies, feels the weight of masks and calls for something real, something true. This energy does not live on easy certainties. It questions, breaks, rebuilds. Scorpios, or those who carry this archetype, have already learned, or are learning, that the truth is often uncomfortable, but it is also liberating. And when you accept to walk through this forbidden dimension, you realize that everything you have experienced up until now has been a preparation. All the wounds, all the losses, all the falls were portals. Every pain was a rehearsal to make you bear what others avoid feeling. You weren't made for the surface. The surface deceives, intoxicates, distracts, but your soul doesn't sleep. You feel when the atmosphere is charged, even without anyone saying anything. You sense betrayals, you sense changes, you sense departures. Sometimes he even dreams beforehand. This is not common sensitivity. This is spiritual perception. It's as if your vibrational field is tuned to a station that captures more than meets the eye. This may make you seem strange to some. It can even isolate you at certain times. But no, this is exactly what makes you who you are. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth. But this death is not literal. It is symbolic. It is internal. It represents the destruction of false identities, illusory relationships, limiting beliefs. And anyone who lives under this rule knows, the more they resist the transformation process itself, the more the pain tightens. But when you give in, when you accept to dive in, something magical happens. You begin to understand that your pain was a code, that scars tell a story that only souls like yours can translate. Have you ever noticed that you attract broken people? Intense, lost, injured people? Have you ever noticed that they feel trust in you even without knowing you well? This happens because your Scorpio energy conveys truth, depth, and presence. It's as if saying without words, I've already gone to the bottom and come back. And that creates connection, because there is something in you that understands the pain of others without judgment, that is not scared by chaos, that knows how to wait for the time for healing. But this gift comes with a price. And one of the biggest challenges for those who vibrate in this energy is learning to protect themselves. Because Scorpio absorb what the other feels, what the other thinks, what the other hides. And if you don't know how to filter, if you aren't aware of your own field, you can carry weights that are not yours. You may feel exhausted for no reason, heavy without explanation. Therefore, it is essential to recognize your own light and your own shadow. And yes, there is a shadow. Scorpio energy is extremely powerful, but when misdirected, it can become destructive. The same gift that heals hurts, the same sensitivity that frees imprisons. Therefore, Scorpio is challenged to transmute their impulses, turning jealousy into zeal, control in presence, anger in creative fire. The shadow does not need to be feared, but it needs to be known, because it is in the integration of light and shadow that you access your spiritual totality. You are not here by chance, and if you identify with all of this, even if you don't have Scorpio on the sun, perhaps this is one of the dominant archetypes in your chart. Maybe it's on your moon, on your ascendant, on your Mars, or maybe it's activated by transits that touch your soul right now. Scorpio energy is like a spiritual password. When it's time to access it, you feel it. Feel an inexplicable call for self-knowledge, for deep dives, for hidden revelations. And this search has no return. Once you start seeing, you can no longer close your eyes. This is why the universe places certain messages your way, not to entertain, but to activate. This here is one of them. And if it reached you, if you stayed here, listening to every word, feeling every vibration, then you already know. This isn't just about Scorpio. This is about you, about what you always knew, but maybe never said out loud, about its essence, about your spiritual seal. Therefore, I want to invite you to leave your mark here. Comment now, I carry this energy, or this message is my mirror, write as if it were a ritual. Activation code. something that establishes your presence in this sacred space. And if you haven't liked this video yet, now is the time. Like so that this vibration reaches those who also need to remember who they are. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and stay with me on this journey, because the next revelation will further deepen the spiritual mission of those who carry this force. And if you are a Scorpio, or have this energy pulsing within you, stay tuned, because what comes next will touch layers that you thought you had already overcome, but that in fact were just waiting for the right moment to be awakened. Scorpio was not born for the surface. It was never your place. The surface is noisy, disguised, full of distractions that feed the illusion. Scorpio vibrates where others refuse to look. It vibrates in raw pain, in silence loaded with meaning, in the spaces between what is said and what is felt. This energy doesn't seek attention. It seeks truth. He doesn't want applause. He wants transformation. And that is precisely why so many people cannot stand its presence, because it exposes what is hidden, reveals what is hidden, calls to light what has been buried. Scorpio's spiritual frequency is one of the most mysterious in the zodiac. It is the only sign that has in essence the power to die inside and be reborn more whole than it was before. We are not talking about physical death, but symbolic death. Scorpio is the one who allows himself to lose everything: identity, control, bonds, certainties, and still emerges different, renovated, reconfigured. This is not weakness. This is hidden strength. Strength that does not show itself in screams, but in silence. This is not proven by appearance, but by the depth of the gaze. While other signs build walls to protect themselves, Scorpio digs tunnels. He wants to go further, understand what sustains the structure, reveal the secrets that keep the world running in silence. This makes him someone restless, questioning, sometimes even suspicious. But it is this distrust that protects him, that guides him, that saves him. The Scorpio spirit does not accept ready-made truths. He needs to feel it in the flesh, live in the soul, confirm with the body. And when you confirm it, you never forget it. This is why he carries the reputation of being vindictive, but the truth is different. Scorpio doesn't take revenge on impulse. He reacts to betrayal like someone who recognizes poison in his own blood. It's not about pride, it's about survival. Those who vibrate in this energy have learned, often in the most painful way, that trust is a costly risk. So select, observe, forehead, and when you choose to surrender, you surrender everything. Scorpio doesn't know how to love halfway. He doesn't know how to be a casual friend. He doesn't know how to live with lightness, what the soul demands intensity. This vibrational pattern is not born from choice, but from spiritual mission. Scorpio is one of the signs that came with a task: to clean the psychic waters of the collective unconscious, transmute pains that are not just yours, heal patterns that come from entire lineages. That's why you feel so much. That's why, even in silence, your body speaks. That's why your energy is heavy when you're in conflict and lightens when you're centered. You are a channel of a spiritual flow that cannot be ignored, and denying this is hurting yourself. It's like trying to silence thunder with a whisper. Those who vibrate with the Scorpio archetype feel the world with their nerves exposed, knows when a room is loaded, realize when someone lies, even with a smile on their face. He has premonitory dreams, symbolic visions, chills that are not just physical reactions but spiritual signs. This may seem heavy, and it often is, but it is also a gift, an invisible compass that guides you along paths that only those who have the courage to feel can follow. Scorpio energy is also associated with deep sexuality, not just in a physical sense but a spiritual one. For Scorpio, true connection is sacred. It's a ritual. There is no touch without exchange. There is no presence without emotional penetration. Therefore, those who carry this vibration often feel out of place in relationships. Because he understands the game, he sees the intentions, he feels the imbalance, and he prefers silence to superficiality, prefers solitude to lies. You'd rather wait for something real than get lost in emotional theater. This magnetism that Scorpio emanates even when silent is part of its spiritual seal. It's a type of energy that doesn't need to announce itself. She is noticed, feared, respected. It attracts, but also repels. because it's too intense for those who still can't bear to really see themselves. And you may have already noticed this. The intensity you offer is often frightening. Because it requires presence, it demands reciprocity, it demands courage to dive in. But that's exactly what makes you a channel, a transformer, a mirror for the most intimate truths that others avoid confronting. And that's why, even without wanting to, you wake up. Even without knowing it, you activate it. Even in silence, you play. Because your vibration carries something that comes from another layer of existence. A layer where words are not enough, where the eyes do not lie, where the soul communicates directly. That's where you live. That's where you grow stronger. That's where your true mission begins. This mission often begins in chaos. It starts when everything seems to fall apart, when you lose what you love most, when you are betrayed by those you trusted most, when you see your own dreams turn to dust. But that's where Scorpio reveals itself. This is where your hidden strength emerges. Because he can't resist the fall, he goes through. He doesn't avoid the bottom. He knows it. He does not fear the darkness. He transforms. It's if it's your gift, your ability to be reborn stronger with each end, to find meaning where others give up, to move forward even when everything seems lost. You don't walk alone. Your soul is protected by ancient, silent, invisible, but real forces. They guide you in the darkest moments, pull you back when everything falls apart, lift you up when no one believes in you anymore. And maybe, deep down, you've always felt that way, even without being able to explain it. Now, if this text spoke to you, if every word seemed to describe what you always felt but never managed to put into words, write in the comments, "My soul vibrates at this frequency," or "I carry the energy of Scorpio." These sentences are not just comments, they are statements. They are like spiritual seals activated by consciousness. Write as someone who recognizes your mission, as someone who accepts your call, as someone who chooses to inhabit with courage this dimension that so many avoid. If you haven't liked this video yet, do so now. This helps this message reach other souls who are also awakening. Subscribe, turn on notifications, because what we're going to reveal next goes even deeper. Are you ready? So keep going. Have you ever noticed how there seems to be an invisible weight that accompanies Scorpios? It's not a common weight, one that life throws at random. It's something older, more rooted, as if from birth a silent mark had been carved into the soul. A kind of spiritual seal that cannot be seen with the naked eye, but that reveals itself in lived experiences, in charged silences, in looks that have already seen too much. The Scorpio spirit was not shaped for a light life. He didn't come to Earth to hang out. It came to feel, to decipher, to survive, and most importantly, to transform. This mark of pain is not punishment, it's initiation. Pain for Scorpio is like a key that opens invisible portals. The more intense the pain, the deeper the access. And that starts early. Many Scorpios report a silent childhood, filled with perceptions they couldn't name. They felt the environment, they knew when something was wrong, they knew when someone was lying. Others, from a young age, have faced losses, rejections, betrayals, as if life was preparing them, layer by layer, for something greater, something they could not yet understand. And as cruel as it seemed, there was a hidden purpose there. Because Scorpio has never been an obvious sign. He belongs to the invisible, and everything that comes to him carries a meaning hidden between the lines of existence. This feeling of having been marked accompanies those who carry this vibration throughout their lives. It's as if there was always a cycle closing, a skin being shed, an old part dying so that a stronger one can emerge. Scorpio is the only sign that is truly reborn, not as a metaphor but as a spiritual process. It breaks, falls apart, disassembles into 1,000 pieces, and returns. More intense, more mature, more real. That is its nature. That's why, for Scorpios, pain is never the end. It is the beginning of something that cannot yet be explained, but that will be revealed at the right time. The universe does not deliver this vibration to just anyone. It requires courage, resilience, and emotional strength that goes beyond the limits of rationality. Scorpio feels everything 10 times stronger, love more deeply, suffer more intensely, react more truthfully. And this can be a burden if there is no awareness, but it can also be a rare gift when well understood, because this mark he bears, this seal of pain and rebirth, is what enables him to guide others through the darkness. Scorpio doesn't just know the path of pain, he lives there, inhabits this territory, and that's why it's capable of helping, transforming, healing. The Scorpio spiritual brand is linked to deep cycles of death and rebirth, and those who carry this archetype know that there is no eternal stability. Everything that seems solid sooner or later will dissolve. Relationships, ideas, internal structures. Scorpio cannot hold on to anything that is not true. He senses when a connection has lost its purpose, even before it falls apart on the outside. And as much as it hurts, you know you need to let go, because everything that remains beyond the sacred time rots. And Scorpio, even if he cries, even if he bleeds inside, chooses to cut instead of corrupting himself. This ability to end cycles is painful, but also liberating. It's what allows him to carry on even with his heart in pieces. It's what pushes you forward when life seems stagnant. It's what teaches him that there is no true growth without loss. And because of this, those with a Scorpio soul often find themselves alone. But it is not an ordinary loneliness. It is a spiritual loneliness. As if I were always a few steps ahead of others, feeling things that no one feels, perceiving realities that others never even dreamed existed. Its loneliness, at first, can feel like punishment, but later, it reveals itself as a sacred space of integration, silence, reconnection with one's own purpose. You may not even understand everything you have experienced so far. You may wonder why you suffered so much, why you had to bear so much weight, why you faced so many trials while others seem to float through life. But the answer is in your soul, in your vibration. Scorpio is the portal between the visible and the invisible. He came to cleanse, purify, reveal, and everything he experiences is part of the spiritual work. No tears were in vain. No loss was by chance. No cut was without reason. Each experience shaped your energy field, strengthening your intuition, sharpening your sensitivity, preparing you to assume your position in the world. The spiritual world recognizes Scorpio's pain, but he also recognizes his strength, because whoever crosses their own darkness without getting lost shines in a way that cannot be erased. This glow is not visible to ordinary eyes. It manifests itself in presence, in magnetism, in silent words that echo as truth. So when you speak, people listen. Even when they don't understand, they feel it. Because your vibration doesn't need to convince, it awakens. And that's why you were marked. Not to suffer, but to awaken those who still sleep. This mission is heavy, but it is sacred. And if you're listening to this now, if you're still here, following this journey, it's because you feel it. Something within you is vibrating, recognizing every word, every symbol, every nuance of this spiritual truth. Maybe you tried to escape this pain, anesthetize yourself, hide. But Scorpio's pain allows no escape. It demands presence. She demands delivery. And when you accept to live everything, with all the intensity, with all the truth, you access a level of consciousness that few touch. You become an alchemist. Turn your own pain into power. Turns wounds into portals. Transform losses into wisdom. And this wisdom cannot be explained. It can only be lived. It can only be felt. It can only be transmitted by those who have already been stripped of everything and still chose to continue. This is the Scorpio strength, the strength of those who have been marked to be reborn as many times as necessary. If you feel that this mark is also on you, if this pain has been the language of your life so far, comment now. My pain awakened me, or I was marked to transform. Leave these words as a seal, a commitment to your own truth. And if this video is speaking to your soul, enjoy it now. Your like is not just a gesture, it's an echo. It is a vibration that spreads this message to other souls marked like yours. Sign up, ring the bell, and keep going. Because there are still revelations that you need to hear, and they are closer than you think. There are truths that are not born from logic. They are felt. They are transmitted in silence, in dreams, in signs. And the Scorpio spirit is one of those mysteries that cannot be explained with reason. It is recognized with the soul. Among the deepest layers of spiritual wisdom, there are records, visions, and prophecies that point to this Scorpio force as an essential part in processes of collective transformation. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, already talked about this. In his visions, he revealed that Scorpio's energy carries rare spiritual programming, the power to transmute not only himself, but everything around him. A type of spiritual DNA shaped to span the ages, to break patterns, to heal entire generations through its own rebirth. This knowledge is not in common books. It is between the lines of the invisible. It's in the karmic cycles that repeat until someone, usually a Scorpio or someone with that vibration, has the courage to break the pattern. Scorpio did not come to repeat stories, came to rewrite them. He feels the weight of unlived lives, of unprocessed pain, of inherited silences, and all of this pulses inside him, as if his physical body were the temple where the forgotten memories of the world come to ask for release. This is the true forbidden dimension, that vibrational place that few have the courage to access, where collective wounds rest, waiting for a heart strong enough to face them. When Casey said that Scorpio heals a generation by healing himself, he was not speaking in metaphor. He spoke of spiritual mission, of souls designated to move between the visible and the invisible, between heaven and the underworld, between the past that becomes sick and the future that is reborn. Scorpio is a vehicle for this journey. He is born with the keys to the unconscious, with the password to the darkest portals of the human soul. But to open these portals, you must first descend alone. And that's where so many get lost, because this descent requires courage that borders on the impossible. It requires losing your identity, letting go of control, burning everything that is false, and that, for most, is unthinkable. But Scorpio, he is born prepared to lose, because you are born with the ancestral memory that only those who die first are reborn. This is why so many Scorpios go through deep breakdowns, relationships that implode, phases that collapse, realities that tear apart. But what looks like destruction is actually purification. Each phase of a Scorpio's life is a layer being peeled back to reveal something truer. And this process, even if intimate and solitary, reverberates. It echoes in the lineage. It reverberates in the children, in the parents, in those who came before, and in those who will come after. Scorpio's spiritual work is never just about him. It's a planetary job, silent but sacred. The transmutation energy that Scorpio carries is beyond the individual psyche. It is a collective spiritual function. It's as if this sign were a passing point. Everything that needs to be healed, resolved, or given new meaning in the lives of those around him comes to him. Friends, partners, family members, everyone at some level gives Scorpio their broken pieces, sometimes consciously, sometimes unknowingly. But they deliver, because they feel. They feel that there is a space where pain will not be ignored, where trauma will be heard, where silence will be respected. But this has a cost. A Scorpio without conscience can be swallowed by this emotional avalanche, can become cynical, cold, bitter. You can lock yourself up, protect yourself, harden yourself. Because carrying the pain of the world requires spiritual maturity. It demands knowing what is yours and what is not. It requires learning to transmute without getting lost. And that's why so many people with this vibration go through dark nights of the soul. Not just one, but several. It's as if the universe said, you can only heal the world when you know how to heal yourself. This process is not fast. It's not light. It's not pretty. It is often lonely, silent, disconcerting. But it is exactly in this that the Scorpio soul grows stronger. Because while many look for meaning in logic, Scorpio finds purpose in pain. He understands that suffering is not an end, but a portal. And as you pass through that portal, something sacred happens. What was once a wound becomes medicine. What was once trauma becomes wisdom. What was once a dark secret becomes a lighthouse. And this beacon doesn't just illuminate the path itself, it clears the road for those who come after. That's why so many Scorpios are mentors without even realizing it. Silent advisors, involuntary mirrors. They don't teach with speeches, they teach with presence. Because your story speaks for itself. Because anyone who looks into the eyes of someone who survived themselves feels it. And this feeling is the cure. It is the beginning of a new frequency. The transmutation that Scorpio promotes is like a ritual. First, everything falls apart. The false, the superficial, the illusory. Then comes the emptiness, the weight, the dark. And only then, slowly, something new emerges. Something purer, more real, more whole. And this new one is not to impress others. It's to serve. It's to transform. It is to activate others who are still sleeping. Because this is the Scorpio mission, to break one's own ego to pave the way for collective awakening. If you feel like you are living this process, if this pain you carry no longer makes sense just as pain, but as a tool, as a portal, then you are ready. Ready to assume your position. Ready to remember who you are. Ready to accept that your healing is not yours alone. She is part of a bigger plan, from a plan that was dreamed up long before you got here, and all you had to lose was just preparation. If you have come this far and these words have touched something that no rational explanation could reach, write now in the comments, "My healing is collective," or "I am a channel of transmutation." These phrases are not just interactions, they are spiritual statements. These are codes activated by vibration. Write like someone who recognizes themselves, as someone who honors your pain, as someone who accepts the responsibility of carrying the densest energy of the zodiac and using it to generate light. Enjoy this video now if it resonates with you. Your gesture is not just digital, it moves frequencies. Sign up, activate the bell, because the next stage of this journey will reveal what happens when Scorpio finally remembers its true power, and you need to be present for it. There is a time when even the strongest hesitate, and Scorpio, even though it is a symbol of spiritual power, also experiences this fall. Not every Scorpio, or anyone who carries this energy, can sustain the strength that pulses within them. Because there is a price to feeling so much, there is an invisible cost in perceiving what others ignore, in walking between shadow and light. And when this powerful soul tries to escape its essence, when it decides to fit in, when it seeks to be normal to please or protect itself, something breaks inside. It is as if the spiritual seal that connects you to his gift began to weaken, and with it, everything loses its direction. Scorpios that distance themselves from themselves lose the shine in their eyes. He loses the scent that always guided him, the intuition that warned him before the fall, the sensitivity that kept him awake. When he chooses to ignore these signals, he begins to disconnect. Your gift turns into poison, his strength, destruction, its intensity, weight. What once served as a spiritual radar turns into a labyrinth of doubts, fears, and repetitions. And this is where many get lost, not because they don't have light, but because they were convinced that it was too dangerous. The Scorpio soul was designed to access forbidden dimensions, but this permission is only maintained when he walks with truth. The Scorpio essence is, first and foremost, an agreement with authenticity. Whenever this energy tries to silence your inner voice, go with the surface flow, or deny your sensitivity, it weakens. And, little by little, the angels fall silent, not because they abandon him, but because they are waiting for him to remember who he is again. This is one of Scorpio's deepest lessons. Your spiritual protection does not depend on beautiful words or imposed beliefs. It depends on coherence with the soul. When he lives in deviation, the superior forces withdraw. When he comes back to himself, they come closer again, and with more force. It is common for Scorpios to become bitter when running away from themselves. Resentment sets in, guilt appears, the energy closes, and life begins to show signs. Doors close, relationships break, dreams fall apart, and the world seems to lose meaning. Everything around collapses. But this is not punishment. It's the universe saying, "You are too far from your truth. Come back. Find your depth. Again. Reactivate your gift." And this fall, however difficult it may be, is often necessary to remember what should never have been forgotten. Scorpios are governed by cycles, and every cycle requires a death. Sometimes this death is symbolic, a habit that needs to be left behind, a mask that no longer serves, an illusion that has become heavy. Other times, it's more radical, the end of a relationship, the loss of a job, the collapse of an identity. And in these moments, Scorpio has two choices: resist or surrender. When you resist, you suffer. When you surrender, you are reborn. And it is in this rebirth that reconnection happens. This reconnection does not come easily. It demands spiritual humility. Scorpio needs to look inward with brutal honesty. You need to admit that you walked away, that you betrayed yourself, that you ignored the signs. You need to recognize the moments when you pretended to be something you weren't, in which he swallowed his intuition just to avoid confrontation, in which he hid from his own soul for fear of being too much. But when this recognition happens, something subtle changes. A wire reactivates. An internal heat returns. It is the sign that the angels are approaching again. What the spiritual field is responding to. What the soul is remembering. Many people do not understand what it is like to lose spiritual protection. They think it's enough to repeat words, light candles, follow external rituals. But for those who carry Scorpio energy, this is not enough. Your protection comes from vibration, and your vibration depends on integrity. Scorpio is a keeper of secrets, but he cannot keep lies about himself. When you live outside of what you feel, your light goes out, but when it comes back to the truth, it becomes impossible to ignore. This return to self is not immediate. It is a path of healing, of forgiveness, of release. Scorpio needs to forgive himself for having lost himself, for disconnecting, for choosing pain as protection. And you need to remember that the gift is still there, sleeping perhaps, but alive, latent, waiting for the right moment to emerge. And that moment begins when he chooses to stop running away. When you decide to look yourself in the eye and say, I accept myself even with everything, even with the flaws, even with the falls, because it was in them that I became stronger. It is at this point that alchemy begins again. Pain turns to compassion. Pride becomes humility. Guilt becomes wisdom. The gift returns. Intuition speaks again. And the angels, the same ones who were silent, whisper again in the silence. Scorpio never lost its light. He just walked away from her, but the light was always waiting for him. If this message touched you, if you felt that at some point you lost yourself and are now ready to return, write here in the comments, I am returning to my essence, or my soul asks for reconnection. Write truthfully, like a ritual, like a code, because when you declare this in written voice, something in the invisible moves. Like this video if it spoke to your soul, and share it with someone who also needs to remember their own strength. Subscribe to the channel now and activate the bell, because in the next moment of this journey we will access the glorification of the Scorpio spirit, and you will understand why. Even after losing yourself, you have always been the key to your own rebirth. When Scorpio returns to itself, it does not return the same. He returns stronger, returns with another vibration. He returns with a keen awareness of everything he has faced and everything he has overcome in silence. This is not a common victory. It's not about trophies, recognition, or applause. The victory of the Scorpio spirit is internal, invisible, vibrational. It is victory over yourself, about the ghosts themselves, about unspoken pains, about the cycles of destruction that repeat themselves until someone decides to break. Scorpio breaks. Scorpio rebuilds. Scorpio returns as the guardian he always was. This sign is not just a sign. It's a portal. It's a cosmic seal. It carries the rawest energy of life and death. It is the bridge between worlds, between what is born and what needs to die, between what is true and what needs to be undone. The Scorpio spirit has a spiritual role that few can sustain, because he didn't come to please, came to wake up. And every awakening has a price. Whoever awakens shakes structures. Wake up, consciences. Expose what is hidden. Those who awaken are uncomfortable because they reveal what was being denied. And that's exactly why Scorpio is feared, admired, loved, and avoided, all at the same time. Your presence does not go unnoticed. And it's not for aesthetics nor for effort. It's through the energy field. It is for vibrational truth. Where Scorpio steps, something moves. Something reveals itself. Something rearranges itself. He arrives and the atmosphere changes. Not because you want to control, but because your energy demands revelation. Scorpio is the mirror of the soul, and whoever refuses to look at each other runs away. But whoever decides to remain is reborn. He wasn't born to fit in. Scorpio is a celestial body on its own path. Follow pulses that no one sees. Perceives subtle movements that escape ordinary eyes. He feels when a soul is tired, when a heart is hurt, when a field is contaminated. And he feels it because his mission is not to ignore it. Your mission is to transmute. He was shaped by the hands of the invisible to touch what no one has the courage to touch, to look where others look away, to remain, even when everything falls apart. Scorpio is the silent healer. He heals when he speaks, but he heals even more when he feels. When you welcome the chaos of others without judgment, when you share your pain as medicine, when you transform your wounds into wisdom. His story, however dense it may be, was never a mistake. It was spiritual. Training. It was a journey of initiation. Everything he experienced served as the refinement of a gift that cannot be given to just anyone, because dealing with symbolic death is an immense responsibility, and only those who have died inside and come back can guide others on this path. This is the glory of the Scorpio spirit. It knows what no one says. He feels what no one admits. He carries what no one sees, and yet it continues. Still, it works. Still, it transforms. Your glory is not in being the most popular nor the most understood. It's about being the most authentic, the deepest, the most faithful to what he feels, even if the world says he feels too much. Scorpio feels too much, yes, and that's exactly why his presence has such an impact. Your soul was designed to touch invisible portals, to keep sacred secrets, to sustain vibrations that others cannot name. You feel when a cycle has come to an end. Before any external sign, you sense the transformation. You carry it in your body. Sometimes it comes as pain, sometimes as silence, sometimes as an absence, other times as a sudden force that takes you out of your comfort zone. This strength does not come from outside. It comes from within. She is the very manifestation of her essence. If you are here listening to this, it is because something in you has already recognized this mission. Maybe you are still resisting. Maybe you're afraid of everything you feel. But listen, it's not weakness. It never was. It's a gift. It's a sign. And you are not alone. There are others like you, spread across the world, going through the same trials, facing the same dark nights of the soul. But there is one thing that connects them all, the certainty that they came for something bigger, that they can no longer live ignoring who they are. Because when Scorpio accepts its essence, when it honors its own path, it becomes unstoppable. Your presence becomes healing. Your look becomes a message. Your pain becomes medicine. You become a lighthouse, not because you decided to, but because your vibration has been activated. And once activated, there is no going back. Your field changes. Your cycles change. Your words take on another density. You become an instrument of what cannot be said but needs to be felt. Now, if these words touched your spirit, if you recognized yourself in this deep archetype, if something awakened in you while listening, then write here in the comments, I accept my essence, or I carry the Scorpio seal. Leave these words as a ritual, like a code of belonging, like a vibrational signature that confirms your spiritual identity. Like this video if it spoke to the part of you that always knew you were different. Share with those who also carry this depth. And above all, subscribe to the channel now and activate the bell, because the next revelation won't be about just anything. It will be about the signs that guard hidden portals. And if you've come this far, it's because this calling is also yours. The journey continues, and the veil is about to open even further. If you've made it this far, it's no accident. Anyone who goes through this video to the end carries within themselves a sincere search, a different vibration, an awakening soul. And that's why now I want to invite you to take the next step on this journey. First, subscribe to the channel. Here, each video is more than content. It's a portal. By activating the bell, you guarantee that you won't miss any upcoming revelations. This journey is profound and you don't have to do it alone. Second, if you felt that this video spoke directly to you, comment below. I carry light and shadow with honor. This phrase is not just a comment. It is a ritual of recognition, a vibrational seal for those who identify with this spiritual mission. When you write, you declare, you activate, you connect with others who are also on this same frequency. And of course, leave your like. Now, if this video touched you, if it made you reflect or feel, your like helps this message reach other souls who are also ready to awaken. And now, to continue your journey, watch the next video that appears here on the left side of your screen. There, the revelation continues, and it may be that the next spiritual key lies in exactly what you will hear now. I'll meet you there.